You're standing in the dark, you tap the shutter, and instead of a click, your phone throws up a timer hold still for 2 seconds, maybe 3. But that exact same phone does the identical thing in broad daylight every single time you tap that button. You just can't see it happen because out there it only takes a fraction of a second. The shutter button on your phone has never actually taken a photo. It only marks a moment inside something that was already running. So what's actually happening back there? We covered this before. Every pixel on your phone sensor only measures one color, red, green, or blue, hidden behind a tiny colored filter. To turn that into a real photo, the phone has to fill in the 2 missing colors at every pixel guessed from its neighbors. That's demosaicing, and it happens exactly once per photo. If that were the whole story, tapping the shutter would mean 1 click, 1 grid of numbers, 1 quick guess at the colors, and you'd be done. That's not the whole story. Because before your phone demosaics anything, it grabs more than one of these grids to work with. Marc Levoy, the engineer who built this for Google's Pixel camera, said it in one line: the moment you press the shutter, it's not actually taking a shot. It already took the shot. It took lots of shots. Most of those grids were sitting in the phone's memory before your finger ever touched the screen, because the camera had been filming the whole time you were framing the picture up and simply never showing you any of it. Tapping the button doesn't start the camera. It just marks the exact second you decided you liked what you saw. But if the phone already has a film strip banked, why does it still need more the moment you press? Because a few of the frames it wants can only be taken now once it knows you're committing to this exact picture. Google's own numbers. An ordinary photo merges 6 frames total, 5 from before the tap, and 1 more taken right after it. Night mode goes further, 15 total, 12 before and 3 after. Apple's iPhones run the identical shape under a different name, Deep Fusion and Smart HDR. Some frames before you press, at least 1 more the moment you do, all of it fused together afterward. Neither company built a slower camera. They both built one that keeps checking in with itself, even after you thought you were finished. And in the scene you opened on, the dark one, even that isn't enough. For its darkest mode, Google gives up on before completely. It waits until after you've already pressed the button to start capturing anything on purpose, because only then can it afford exposures long enough to actually see in the dark. That's the whole timer, and it's not the phone struggling to catch up. It's the phone honestly telling you it hasn't started yet, and it needs you to hold up your end while it does. The wait was never a delay. It was the one moment the camera was finally being straight with you about how it works. So what does all that waiting actually buy you? The exact same math from the megapixel video. More independent samples of the same light, averaged together, cancel out more of the noise. 4 small wells added up beat one big well by exactly the same amount a well 4 times the size would. A burst of frames does that trick across time instead of across space. 15 underexposed frames stacked on top of each other cancel out noise the same way 4 pixels stacked into one did. And that's not a coincidence. It's the identical rule showing up twice. The phone isn't stalling for the sake of it. It's buying itself more samples to average the only way it can, one frame at a time. And here's the part that actually closes the loop from the start of this video. Those 15 frames it's merging aren't 15 photos. They're 15 of the exact same colorless grids from earlier, one color per pixel, still waiting to be filled in. The phone lines them up, blends them together while they're still just raw counts. And only then, once, does it run the single color guess we talked about on the one merged grid that's left over. So the order was never guess the colors, then take more pictures if needed. It was gather everything first, merge it while it's still unfinished, and guess the colors exactly once at the very end. Even on an ordinary iPhone photo in daylight, that last step visibly hasn't caught up yet. Swipe into a photo fast enough, and Apple has told reporters you can watch it update about half a second later into the version that finished merging. So the next time that timer shows up in the dark, counting you down before it takes anything at all, you're not watching a camera that's behind. You're watching the one moment it stops hiding the part it does on every single photo you've ever taken. In daylight, without a timer, too fast for you to ever notice. Your phone was never waiting for a click to happen. The click was just the moment you joined something that was already running.
Everything you just figured out rests on something deeper. And that's the next video, so start there. Would you rather understand your computer than just use it? Then subscribe, and I'll see you next time, further down the stack.